It's the Grand Circle Podcast with your host, Samuel Galubak and Inessa Strelnikova. It's your intimate look into the lives of world champion dancers. And now, here's Samuel and Inessa.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Grand Circle Podcast. With me is my co-host Inessa Strelnikova.
Hello everyone, and my co-host Sam Golubok.
We will be uploading episodes weekly.
So stay tuned and listen to our podcast every Monday.
You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Grand Circle Podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by the North American Imperialist Star Bowl Championship, which is happening in November 14th to 17th, 2019 at the Hilton Chicago Oak Brook Hills Resort and Conference Center.
You can visit their website at northamericandancesport.com. We will get back to this a little later in the podcast. But for now, I would like to introduce our very first guest.
Yes, let's do it.
He is the winner of major championships in the world.
He's a Blackpool 8 times, UK 9 times.
He's international 9 times and US championships 10 times champion.
And 10 times world champion. We welcome to the studio
Arunas Bizokas.
Hello, Arunas.
Hello guys, so good to be here, thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight with us.
Thank you.
So I guess let's get into our questions. And I would like to get started with question of how did it all begin for you? What or who brought you into the ballroom dancing industry?
Well, it was my mom who took me to the dancing club, and it was very popular thing to do at the time in the whole Soviet Union. I think it was very popular for kids who start school at 7 or 6 to start dancing classes, and every secondary school had dancing clubs in the schools, and that's where I started. And it was so popular that most of other kids who started school with me at the same class, my classmates, they were also in the dance club. So it was it was the beginning there with a lot of kids, and I liked it.
You guys were all friends there?
Well, we got to be friends because we were going to the school together, and I enjoyed that part mostly because it was many of my friends there. And later on, when they started quitting, because that's natural as you go along, people drop it because they just don't want to do it anymore, or they find something else. And when a lot of my friends stopped dancing, that's when I thought I would maybe stop dancing too. But it was again my mother who persuaded me to stay with the dancing, and I'm very grateful that she did.
So it's a family support.
Yeah. When you were in those dance clubs, what kind of dance did you dance?
We started with first more like exercises, and then there were polkas, and there were so-called Soviet dances. There were like
Rillo,
all of these. So we did those, and then of course almost at the same time we went into also like waltz, so cha-cha. So gradually, learning all ballroom dances too.
Well, as an amateur dancer, can you share with us most memorable moments in your career as an amateur dancer?
As an amateur, I think it was, for me personally, 3, I think, episodes. First, Youth Under-19 World Championships, where I was placed third with my partner. I was dancing with Edita Danute at the time, so we became third, and that was very great achievement at that time, because from our country, from the background, there were no results like that before. And then the same year, 1996, we were placed second in Blackpool Dance Festival under 21, and that actually made up my mind. I decided that instead of studying architecture that I was preparing to study, and I was planning to enter the University of Technology, I decided to enter then University of Sports and stick to dancing basically. So that was a very memorable moment, Blackpool Dance Festival Youth. And I think third one was United Kingdom Championships in 1997 when we very unexpectedly won the championship. So that was also a kind of defining moment in the career.
When did you turn professional, and who were your partners?
I only had one partner as a professional, Katyusha Demidova, and we started dancing together in 2007, October 2007. And the partnership that was very successful, more successful than we could ever imagine. So it was really great to get on that path.
What was your first breakthrough result with Katyusha?
It came right away, basically. We danced Ohio Star Ball, and we won, and we expected to win because many of the strongest couples were at the World Championships at that time. It was coinciding with the World Championships, so we were not ready to be at the World Championships at the time, but it was our first outing after 3 weeks dancing together. So that was a good start, but it wasn't career changing or anything. But the next competition, it was in January, United Kingdom Open Championships with all the top couples there, where we didn't know what to expect. We were prepared not to make the final because that would be normal in many cases. Those couples that turn from amateurs to professionals, it's not that often that they would make the final, more often semifinals, and sometimes not making semifinals. And Katyusha and I actually, we got into the final to our own surprise and then finished second. So that was very, very good result. I mean, that was something that I think enabled us to win so quickly and have this career that we had. So we're really lucky.
You indeed had a very, very successful career together with Katyusha, and we would like to congratulate you once again on becoming world champion for the 10th time.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on that. I wanted to ask you, how did you feel when you announced your retirement at Blackpool?
It was special moment, definitely, both sentimental because that's the end of this competitive journey that we had. Also, it was so moving to get that farewell from the audience, such moving in many ways because we just felt that really people showed so much respect and appreciation, and the last dance we danced, and when they all stood and applauded, and of course other competitors throwing me in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So all these moments were very, very, very dear to my heart, I can say, and will stay in my memories forever.
Yes, that's for sure. Very deep moments, something to cherish for the rest of your life, and well deserved. Well, now that you had moved on from a competitive world, but continuing as a professional, you and Katyusha now own your own dance competition, and this competition is taking place very, very soon in November.
November 14th to 17th,
Yes.
right?
Yes, correct.
So can you please tell us more about it? What it's like and what's the name?
The competition is North American Imperialist Star Ball, and the history is long. It's over 40 years now, and the reason it starts with the two words North American is that this competition hosted North American Championships for a long time, and it was one of the biggest, most important events in the North America, and it was actually moving the championships. One year was in Canada, the other year was in USA, and Katyusha herself actually danced at North American Championships, and I think did very well. I'm not sure if she was, I think she's maybe won or maybe was second. So And it's also called, third word is Imperial, because it was started by the Imperial Society of Teachers of Dancing of North America. So that society is very well respected and important. And they ran this competition for many years. And then after that, Wayne Eng, a famous person in our dance industry, became the owner and organizer of this competition. He ran it for a few years, and then David Madeiros took over, and eventually Katyusha and I took it over in 2016, and then we organized it in 2017, 18, and now it's the third year that we are organizing, and it's very overwhelming, I would say, because so many things you have to take care of, and at the same time I enjoy it a lot because of course we have great experience of being on the floor as competitors ourselves, and I've seen dancing from so many different angles. So as the organizers, we try to use that experience and bring the best possible event for everyone. And I think we have a great team. We have now, I think, great location. I think Chicago is very good to reach from if you take North American continent. And the hotel itself, I like it a lot. So now it's in Hilton, Chicago. It's a conference and resort, and the ballroom is beautiful. It's on the golf course, so I like that a lot. So very good conditions. The hotel itself is very nice, and I think it received a lot of support the previous 2 years. It's grown, and it seems like it's going to be even bigger than previous 2 years. So we are very positive and very excited that it is back on the map as one of the important events in the North America.
What kind of dancing could you see at your competition? Amateur, pro-am?
Yes, or amateur, pro-am, professionals, and all four most popular styles. It's American Smooth and Rhythm, International Ballroom, and Latin. And at the same time, we also have all these styles for kids, all the groups. So basically from the youngest to the oldest, and all the styles and all the categories are there, different levels. So everyone can, I think, find their own level category where they can compete. So showcases, we have many solos, and this year we have, and I think that's a great thing that now it also gathers international attention. So we have now people from Japan coming, then
Around the world.
Around the world. So I think it's we started without trying to put on the world map right away. We thought that we have to grow locally first, and then if it's successful, of course, we would get international attention, and it seemed like it went that way. So we have now people coming from Europe, from Asia, and I hope that that trend will continue, and that it will become also a big international event.
That's amazing. So I hope some of our listeners will attend.
I hope so
Yes.
too, if you're listening and you haven't planned to attend, but if you have an opportunity, please join us. It would be great to have you there.
Yes, absolutely. And then you yourself, Arunas, I think you already have experience as an organizer, because you do organize another competition in Lithuania.
Yes.
And you also run a dance business, a studio in Canada. You've danced for Lithuania. You have danced for US. So where's my question going to? Which country do you feel you belong to the most?
I feel, if you take the concept of being citizen of the world, that's something that I can relate to very well.
Citizen of the world.
Yes, very much so. And so I have strong connection with Lithuania, and I have a strong connection with USA, and a very strong connection with Canada. And I'm very fortunate that my life was such that I was able to be involved in many exciting things in all these countries. So to represent them, dance for them, to organize events like in Lithuania, in USA, to have a dancing business like studio in Canada. It's I think it's great experience, very rewarding, and I met a lot of great people that I think made made me what would be the word, made me know the world much better, because people from different backgrounds and bringing their ideas, and I think it taught me so much, and I think helped me to achieve a lot of things that I and with the people that were working with me, that we have achieved because of that experience that we shared together.
Awesome.
I wanted to talk a little bit about dancing now.
Yes.
You dance yourself, you teach. What do you think is the most important aspect of a partnership?
I think being able to work in a productive way, that's the most important aspect. You get many talented people individually, but if you can't work productively together, it's not or it's more difficult to have very successful partnerships. So if you get people who can be productive together, then I think that's the key. But in every, I think, group of people, every team, that's probably what matters most. If they can cooperate and work together, and because it's not always easy, because you have personal egos, you have different opinions, and you have to be able to compromise. You have to be able to prioritize things and get things done. So I think like Katyusha and I, our partnership was very good that way. I think we helped each other a lot. We motivated each other a lot, and I think that brought the best in both of us.
So, about teaching your couples, when you teach your students, when you coach and go to different places, what is your goal when you're training your students?
Well, I think the goal is to fulfill their potential. That's and the teacher, I think, teacher's job is very important, because not only that you're trying to help, but sometimes when you're trying to help, if you not intentionally, I'm sure, but sometimes it may have the opposite effect. So you always have to be very sensitive to how your pupils feel, what they tell you, so that you really help and don't do something that would work the opposite way, and that actually, instead of helping them to deal with whatever they have to deal with, you actually put additional maybe tension or pressure, and that doesn't help them to, as I said, the goal is to help them to fulfill their potential. So you have to do everything that would help that goal.
Understood. Sam?
I believe we have a lot of listeners that are dancers themselves. And I
Yes.
wanted to ask you what your opinion is, and how important do you think dance competitions are for dancers?
Oh, I think they're essential. If you're a competitor and if you don't take part in the competitions, you don't develop as a competitor. So regular outing in the competitions help to improve faster. I think it's not the best strategy to practice a lot, work very hard, and not to participate in the competitions regularly, because if you're not exposed on a regular basis, so it's going to be a very stressful situation, and it may affect performance maybe in a better way, but quite often I think it's becoming more difficult to deal with it. So regular participation in the competitions help you to improve faster and become better competitor, and of course achieve better results.
What aspects do you think dancers improve on when they compete?
Oh, I think
The main aspect.
main aspect, well, so the performance aspect, so that you, when you come out there and when it matters, that you produce your best. So that's the aspect of the performer, that you deliver when it matters. You can do the most beautiful natural turn in the studio. Okay, and you close your feet beautifully, and you time the actions beautifully, and you smooth, and the movement is free, and all the qualities that that you're looking for is there. And yet, it can happen that you come out in the competition and you actually
Forget
feel,
everything.
you feel like there's so much attention, and now it matters. People looking at it, and they're going to decide and compare to the others whether it's better or it's worse, and things change. So
You get a different feeling.
exactly. So that's what matters. That that experience help you to deliver when it matters, and you see, personally for me. I've experienced that many times when things that worked really well when I was practicing were not coming out as well in the competition. So go back again, and you're trying to figure out what and why. Then you practice again, and you have to go and check again, because it's
Trial and error.
exactly trial and error, and repeating it again and again until you get it right.
Just like you did.
Yes, so I guess personal experience. That's how it was. Trying. And success doesn't. Well, maybe for some does, but in general, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's usually the result of a lot of hard work and many failures. So then and then you finally get what you want. But so it's not instant, and you have to accept it.
I meant to ask earlier, Arunas, what age did you start at your dancing? Your ballroom
7.
dancing? At
I was 7 years old.
And do you have an opinion at what age is the best to get started in your dancing?
Well, I don't have like one particular age. In general, people who start younger tend to achieve better results overall if you take the highest possible level. But there are examples when people started later. I think Carmen, she started only 17 when Latin dance, ballroom and Latin at the time. I think that's what she said. I may be wrong, but I think that's when she started, and she achieved
And she still achieved.
all the greatest results. So that basically shows that you don't have to start very young. You can start later. But most dancers that I know started in their childhood. So basically 6, 7, 8. That's if we take top competitors who are winning in the professionals or top amateur events, so those are who started a younger age, but I don't think that's like necessarily the rule.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little. This is all opinion based.
Yes.
I've heard people say that ballroom dancing is not a guy thing to do. It's girls do it more, and then when guys say they dance, it's like, haha, you're a dancer, girls do that. In your opinion, is this true or false?
Well, I didn't experience it that way because when I started, so many other guys started with me. So I didn't go through this that it's a girls thing and boys don't do it. I think in certain places where the situation was that not so many boys were dancing, that was very common to perceive it that way. But I personally didn't experience it that way, and I think it's a great environment for a boy to be. That's when I look back, I think that taught me so much. And of course, dancing with a girl, and you have to learn so many things. So I think it's very useful if you take life itself. And I would encourage all the boys and parents, if they have an opportunity to encourage their boys, and that's really, really good to do.
Is there a difference when training a man and a woman?
Well, I think you read the book, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, so it's that's true. There are things that I interpreted different by men and women, and how things are working. Maybe more so in the past. Now we have the dancing scene is changing according to what's happening in the society overall. So I think the roles are changing. What the man's supposed to be or the woman's supposed to be. You have same-sex marriages. You have same-sex dancing. So it's changed a lot from very traditional type of dancing. So now it's seen as different, and that I think changes how we view things. But and of course I think it's kind of evolving into different environment altogether. Where if you take for instance 30 years ago, it was different environment than it is today. And some people may prefer one to another, but we have
Even the style of dancing changed.
oh
though.
yes, of course, and of course if you take in the society what we consider to be masculine and feminine, that's changed. And you take the movies, what was considered hero at one point, and it's maybe different at the other point. So I think in dancing same thing. If you take the clothes, for instance, the styles changed so much, the dresses. Ballroom style, if you take tail suits, that hasn't changed as much maybe. We still look more similar.
But I know the frame changed in
Oh, yeah.
standard, because before it was
Yes, expanded, I would say. Yeah.
you look bigger now.
So spatially, yes. And it became more the priority at certain point. So the positioning of the arms, of course, so the elbows were lower and the hold itself was much smaller. And especially if you look old videos, if you start from, let's say, 30s and then go to 50s and then you come to 90s and 2000s, of course, you can see the difference, big difference in the frame, in the hold, and the space that is created through the hold.
I wanted to ask just one question about Blackpool.
Yes.
Some dancers don't have the chance to get there.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, how is it to dance with a live orchestra, Blackpool music, in a venue that prestigious?
Of course, so it's big history. I think it's 97 or so years now of the Blackpool Dance Festival. I'm going to celebrate 100 years soon. So that in itself, I think, it kind of makes an effect on the person. And when you get there, of course, and you think of all the generations of dancers that danced there at that festival, it has kind of inspiring effect. And then, of course, the whole atmosphere, the music, great performances that stay in memory. So yes, so that has an effect on the dancer. And those who cannot attend in person, of course, nowadays it's much easier. They can, it's live streaming. They can have videos. So it's not like they don't have an opportunity to see it and to know what it is. Of course, live experience is much different. So I would encourage everyone, if you get the chance, to get there and to get a sense of what it is, to feel it and experience it. At the same time, if you don't have a chance, but you're interested, so definitely watch some videos or live streaming. So that also, I think, gives you a lot.
So if you follow our page on Facebook and Instagram, we will 100% have videos of Arunas dancing at Blackpool and many other international competitions.
For
That's
sure.
great that there's such opportunity to see that. I'll watch myself.
Please do. Now going back to the beginning of our conversation, when you mentioned when you started dancing, you had to learn all those different dances that were introduced to kids via Soviet program of ballroom dancing.
Yes.
But then after all the Rilio and Varo Varo and etc., you of course started to learn Latin and ballroom, or was it ballroom right away? You did everything, right?
Oh yes, I did everything. Ballroom, Latin, yes. Ten dance, yes.
10 dance. Okay, well, so I hope it's not a very funny question, but I still want to ask this. What is your favorite Latin dance? Or what was your favorite Latin dance back then?
That's difficult to say. It's been a while since I was actively doing Latin.
But now watching others.
I would say it's between cha-cha and samba.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
live.
that
Fast
if-
tempos.
Yes, I like them a lot. Yeah, yeah. So cha-cha, like rhythmically. Well, they are all special in their own way, and I enjoy all of them.
Uh-huh.
But if you have to pick one, which is not an easy thing, I would struggle to pick just one. But I think if I compare to the others, so my two favorite would be cha-cha and samba overall.
And
In the
of course,
ballroom?
because you're professional.
Yeah,
ballroom.
I would also struggle because ballroom, which I do all the time, so and that changes how I feel about them. Sometimes one dance kind of feels more dear to my heart, and sometimes the other. So it's probably like all-time favorite. It would be over a period of time that was feeling most kind of special. Difficult to say. You see, I can't immediately point out one dance, but I think it would be between foxtrot and waltz in ballroom section.
Mhm.
That's
So
interesting.
interesting that you like slower dances in the ballroom and faster in the Latin.
Yeah, it's you see, it's when you think about it, it's it's so many aspects to them, and although like they create the impression of being slow, but there's so many things that are there, and actually things that happen fast, in my opinion. But the impression of the character portrayed is slow. So, yeah, interesting. But yeah, that's how I feel. But at the same time, there are definitely moments where I felt best about tango. So that tango was favorite, or quick step, like was my favorite. But probably over a long time, over my long career, I would say that slower dances were probably closer to me.
And any other new projects do you have in your agenda that are dance related now that you aren't competing? But we know you're still doing shows and you're very busy teaching and organizing competitions. Anything else? Anything new? What's on the agenda for Arunas Bizokas for the next year?
Well, those who are involved in dancing and follow the dancing scene may have heard and saw WDO, World Dance Organizers. And that's the project initiative that I'm very involved with. I'm one of the founders of the World Dance Organizers, and it is very exciting because it receives so much support from the profession in general. So many well-known people supporting it, and we just ran first WDO World Championships for juveniles and for amateur Latin, and we received so much support. When we're thinking, just for instance, amateur Latin, we thought, well, if we start, it's something new, people will be maybe cautious, they will want to wait and see. So we said, well, if you get 50, 60 couples participating, that would be great. But when we got over 100, that really was so exciting and felt so great. And talking about, for instance, orchestra like Blackpool Orchestra, Impress Orchestra with the leader Ashley Frolik. So at the World Championships of WDO World Championships in Latin, we had Ashley Frolik with Impress Orchestra playing, and it was in England in the Copthorne Hotel. It's a venue that is frequently used for dancing, so it was a great atmosphere. And a little bit, if you want a touch of Blackpool sound, that's that was an opportunity too during this WDO World Championships. But that WDO is something that I'm very excited about. I think that's changing dancing scene on a big scale, and we're doing that for many different reasons, but primarily because we want to do what's best for the competitors, adjudicators, organizers, and all the people that want to enjoy dancing at the highest level. So that's what we're doing. We're receiving a lot of support, so I'm very positive and excited about it.
Awesome. Well, we wish you the best in whatever you pursue in your career, in your doings about dancing, and whatever helps the industry. Yes.
We really hope to sit down with you again in the future.
Thank you.
And hear more exciting stories.
Thank you,
Okay.
Nessa. Thank you, Samuel. It was a great to be here, and I enjoyed it a lot. So if we ever get a chance to do it again, it will be a pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Stay tuned next Monday for our next episode, and go follow and go like our Facebook page at Grand Circle Podcast.
And just to remind us, North American Imperialist Starboat Championships were the sponsor of this particular podcast that we recorded today, and it happens on November 14th and 17th, 2019 at the Hilton Chicago Oak Brook Hills Resort and Conference Center.
You can visit their website at NorthAmericanDancePro.com for more information.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being with us tonight, and until next time.